Okay, here we go. Dribble up to the radio. Slam dunk yourself in front of the speakers. It's time for Cat Chat on the local Radio West.
Cat Chat back this week. We're giving our power forward Stephen Way a bit of a weekend off. The whole team's got a week off so they can rest up before they go on the road trip designed to really test them out. Next week they've got 3 games in 4 days. So this week, instead of going on court, we're going into the boardroom and having a chat with the Chief Executive. Good morning, Nick Marvin. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Very well, thank you.
You must be reasonably pleased. We spoke early on in the season and we were talking about how the pressure has been put on from above and from the boardroom onto the players that anything less than 4th is not acceptable. Well, we're currently sitting first with probably a game and a half clear over the rest of the field at the moment.
In many ways, it's unexpected success from such a young group. Our goal at the start of the season was to finish in the top 4, and our hope was we made the top 4, we make the finals, anything can happen. To be number 1, especially for so long throughout the season, is really an unexpected success. And with that comes positives and negatives, and we're working through them.
Now, at the start of the year, there was all sorts of conjecture as to whether the season was going to actually get underway. With pre-season, there was still a bit of umming and ahhing before Melbourne came on board finally and made the 8th team. We've got a 28-game season for each team. Each team plays each other 4 times, twice at home, twice away. From your perspective, from the boardroom's perspective, how has the season panned out? Not necessarily for the Wildcats, but for the new NBL as a whole.
You know, it was definitely a crisis. There's no question about it. You know, it was some of the darkest days, certainly from the sports point of view, in terms of having many players with non-transferable skill sets looking at the end of their career. We took it as an opportunity here at the Wildcats to make some significant changes in what we were doing. And in many ways, the NBL has also used that opportunity to make some significant changes. One of the things that I've personally been pushing for, and certainly we as the Wildcats have been pushing for, is the management of the salary cap. We put together some guidance principles for the league, and they've adopted many of those principles in managing the salary cap. Significant fine, possible exclusion from playoffs, penalties in the year following. I think those types of penalties has indeed had a positive effect on all clubs this year. I mean, there aren't too many clubs or players that you can look at and say, look, they're in breach of the cap. And the result is a very tight competition. This is the tightest competition they've had in the history of the league. No question about that. About the tightness of the league, there's 4 or 5 teams ranked between 2 and 5 or 6 who are within a game of each other, and any one of them could go into the top 4. The danger side from my perspective is always Melbourne. Now, you've got to play them again, not this weekend, but next weekend at the end of a 3-game road trip. And the series at the moment is 2-1 in favour of the Wildcats, 2 wins at home, 1 loss away. Can you win that series 3-1 at the end of such a difficult road trip? I think so. And the reason I believe we can win is that Melbourne's playing a very different type of basketball to what they used to. If you watch the way Melbourne have been playing recently, it's very much reliant on the spirit of individual players and the team itself to get them through these wins. They are not playing that traditional Melbourne's shuffle offense that they have been so good at for so long. The last few games, especially the ones they've won, have been, individual talent. People like Julius Hodge, who's unstoppable. Very, very tall guard. He's unstoppable in the paint. Mark Worthington's had some standout games. Chris Anstey's had some standout games. But they've been very much individual efforts or a team whose spirit is tested and they've won. I am not sure how long that can last for. I don't think it's very unlikely that they're going to win all their 5 games. I think they're going to drop a couple and they could well be out of the top 4.
Nick, thanks for joining us from the boardroom today. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Stephen Way sometime in the next week when they've got that road trip to test all road trips. Nick, once again, thanks for joining us on Cat Chat.
Pleasure, Dave. Always good to talk.